Good morning, this is Deepak. I'm back in San Diego for a couple of days and then on the road again for the book tour, which is about the book, the one that we're talking about all the time, which is You Are the Universe, Discovering Your Cosmic Self and Why It Matters. As you know, we have a website called discoveringyourself.com where you can come and engage in discussions. And right now we're also doing a sweepstakes on that site, so do check it out. And you could win a grand prize to come to the Chopra Center for a retreat, but there are also many other prizes. So we'd love for you to come if you can. In the meanwhile, today's question is fascinating to me because it addresses a question and a topic that keeps coming up in many conferences. So this question today is by Psychedelicacy. He or she has asked many questions before as well. And here is the question that I have rephrased. What level of brain damage would cause you to detach to your cosmic self or into another organism? How close to death before that happens? What if you are revived from death? Cryogenics. Do you come back from your cosmic self, the other organism, to once again exist as the one who was revived? And then if duplicates of your organism nature creates exist of you in the future, would they be you? Why do we always seem to be fixed in this particular organism we're experiencing? So I rephrase the question a little bit because this question comes up in various conferences these days that you go to, and there are a lot of people who are talking about downloading information from the brain or doing head transplants or brain transplants. Are you still the same person? There are a lot of people talking about artificial intelligence, a lot of people talking about freezing the brain or the body even through cryogenics and reviving that in the future as new technologies become available. So this conversation is relevant and I'll do my best to answer it. And then also people are talking about, as I said, artificial intelligence, cyborgs, which are human beings with mechanical devices in them, or will be human beings with mechanical devices that will extend their lifespan and also give them a kind of supernormal ability. People are talking also about augmented reality and creating humans with augmented reality that extends them into a new world and in fact makes them a hybrid between humans and cyborgs and artificial intelligence. So these questions are coming up and they're part of the conversation that is there, and I'll do my best to answer it in a possibly reasonable way. So let me answer this question as reasonable a way as I can. Okay? So these questions are based on the fundamental premise that your brain is the source of your consciousness, and that your brain is actually the repository of all your memory, that your brain is what creates your personality and your personhood, and that if we could understand the brain, then all these things would be possible. Basically, that's what all these questions are based on, and all the kind of postulates come out of this premise that the brain is fundamental to everything. So let me try and answer this question and why these questions are actually in a sense relevant and in a sense irrelevant. So, if you think about the brain, it's made of the same atoms as the rest of your body. It's the same carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. And ultimately, it's mostly water and fat. And there is no evidence that it actually produces consciousness. And that the whole idea that matter is the ontological primitive of all reality is under question, at least in our book, You Are the Universe, Discovering Your Cosmic Self. Once again, you can join the conversation right here on discoveringyourcosmicself.com. But no one has actually ever proved the existence of a substance called matter. Matter is an interpretation that we humans have as a result of sensory experience. All we experience actually are sense perceptions: sound, touch, sight, taste, smell. Then we also have thought, which is a subtle activity in our consciousness that creates a story out of it, and then we come up with a story of physical matter as being real, objective reality. Okay, but as I said, that's a human construct that created by human beings as a result of language and as a result of all the scientific technologies that have come about, as a result of other language, mathematical language, scientific language, and so on, that has been very successful in creating the very technologies that you're asking about: artificial intelligence, cyborgs, augmented reality, etc. So we can manipulate our experience of reality without actually understanding how reality comes about. So let me propose what I've been proposing in this book all along with Menas Kafatos, the book being You Are the Universe, Discovering Your Cosmic Self and Why It Matters. Matters used here as a verb, how consciousness becomes matters. So in this book, the proposition is that the ontological primitive of reality is consciousness. And consciousness is formless, and consciousness is not in time, but how consciousness interacts with itself produces qualia, or qualities of consciousness, which then are basically sense perceptions and ultimately thoughts and feelings and interpretations of sense perceptions. And so we have that experience in consciousness, but we objectify it as the physical universe, including the physical body and the brain. So without going into details, in this understanding, your brain is a modified form of consciousness that allows non-local consciousness to have a human experience in space-time and causality. Once again, your brain is a modified form of consciousness because it's experienced in the same way as any other physical object, sense perceptions and interpretations of sense perceptions. So your brain is a modified form of non-local consciousness that allows that non-local consciousness to have a human experience. And in that human experience, we attach ourselves to certain experiences, and we create a personality out of that. But even the personality is evolving, and mind, brain, personality, universe are a unified activity. So your mind, brain, personality is not a thing, nor is your body, nor is your brain. These are processes. They are processes in awareness or consciousness. And the brain is continually also changing as a result of experience. So if I downloaded the information from a brain, which is theoretically not possible at the moment, then all I would get is a frozen picture of what is happening in this activity, which is a process in being. And being is not in time. Being is already, in a sense, immortal, not being in time and being formless, interacting with itself to experience itself as form and phenomena. But every form is phenomena, and every phenomena is the arising and subsiding of qualities of awareness within awareness, appearing as mind-body universe. Okay, so if you get that, then everything we are saying is actually irrelevant. These cyborgs, these augmented realities will still be extensions of an evolving consciousness which is not in time. And so too, there will be all these other technologies, cryogenics or whatever. They're not looking at the real reality, which is the fundamental ontological primitive that is acting out itself as mind, brain, body, universe. So taking a brain transplant or creating a cyborg or information download from the brain, all these become totally irrelevant to take us in the direction of personal immortality, because there's no such thing as a permanent person. The person is also evolving as a process in awareness. And this is really how you need to think about these questions. Because if you think you're a person, I would ask you a simple question: which one? The one that you were as a child or a baby or a teenager, the one that's now, the one tomorrow? So you see, there's no such thing as a person. What gives us the impression that we are persons is the continuity of memory with which we identify. But we don't identify with every experience. We identify with only certain experiences that were emotionally strong and out of which we created stories. Okay, so if you want to build a self, a personal self, then basically understand this idea and commit to creating a personal self that is a process that wants to evolve for maximum diversity, but in the direction of truth, goodness, beauty, harmony, love, compassion, joy, equanimity. So you, the person, is evolving in the direction of enlightenment, which is total self-awareness, where you realize that the real you is already immortal in the sense that it is not in time. Okay? Somebody is asking, Laxi Balthazar is asking, so continuity of memory doesn't have a time or space, right? Absolutely. Nor does thought, nor does anything that we value, like love or truth or goodness or beauty. The essential things that make us who we are is those things are not in time. Those things don't occupy space. And those things are self-interactions that give us the appearance as a mind-body universe. Okay, so once we are totally understanding this, then of course deep learning and augmented reality and artificial intelligence can be used to enhance the quality of our experience. But remember, they can also be used to destroy the world, to create warfare, to create destruction, and also the future terrorist activities. So we have to be very careful how we use these technologies, because technology is here to stay and it's part of our evolution. We cannot stop it, but we can use it to enhance the quality of life, to actually bring about the resurrection of extinct species, repair the ecosystem, reverse climate change, create social and economic justice and a more sustainable and happier planet. If we can do that with technology, we should do it. But we should not be afraid that technology is irreversible, because it is irreversible. Technology will be here to stay. We have to decide how we want to use it. Okay, so this is my answer for today, and I hope it helps in some way or another. And as we continue this discussion on discoveringyourcosmicself.com, and we can actually see how this conversation evolves. So let me show you a little bit. Since I'm home, I might as well give you a little tour of my place in San Diego, which is all possible today because of technology. So I just came back, okay, and I'm here for a couple of days, and just reminding you that the book is You Are the Universe, Discovering Your Cosmic Self and Why It Matters, and it's now doing very well as a bestseller. It's on the New York Times, Washington Post, and also on many other bestseller lists, including the Wall Street Journal. Let me give you a glimpse of the scene outside my window or my door. This is La Jolla, and as you can see, it's a bright, beautiful day today. And last night they had a typhoon, a storm. It's gone now, and it's a beautiful sunny day. So, and that is the entrance to the house. This is my fireplace. You see these drums. These are shamanic drums for shamanic rituals, and this is a beautiful painting from India. People in a village square enjoying themselves. These are some of my books that I have still to read here, you know, or some that I have read, piled up because the bookshelf is full. And here's a painting by the great Indian artist Hussain, M.F. Hussain, who was considered the Picasso of India. And here I'll show you something very interesting. This is a painting of Einstein, and I have with me a photocopy of the original paper that Einstein wrote for the theory of relativity. This is a tanka, a Tibetan tanka, and the painting is of Rahul. Rahul is, as you can see, if you see carefully, Rahul has eyes everywhere in his body, everywhere in his body. And this is basically the symbolic expression of how the infinite being experiences itself as infinite modes of seeing, infinite seers, and infinite objects observed. That's Rahul. Okay? So here, let me show you something else. As I move through my house here in La Jolla, here is a painting of the Buddha, and actually as you go close to it, you'll see hundreds of Buddhas, okay, thousands of Buddhas, because it is our nature to ultimately be Buddha, enlightened. So this is a close-up, but as I go further away, then you see all these Buddhas are contained in the one Buddha. So we are all enlightened beings in the infinite being. See, you go close and you'll see that the whole cosmos is represented in this picture. So let me show you one more thing and then we'll call it a day. Okay, so one more thing here. This is another Hussein painting, which is basically an understanding of archetypes, both human and animal. And now I'll show you something from the Celtic tradition. Here you have, here you have a man who's also has demonic tendencies and is ready to destroy, but is also an aspect of our own self. The divine and the diabolical are both within us, and it is up to us how we want to actualize the experience of life. These are some old pictures. Here's Gotham, my son, with Al Gore. Here is a picture of Michael Jackson and me from old days, a picture of me and Maharishi, my guru, my teacher from the old days. Here's a picture of Gotham and Candace, my daughter-in-law, with the President and Hillary Clinton from an old time. And here is a picture of Aldous Huxley, okay, who wrote a lot about the perennial philosophy. And of course, he was basically a translator of perennial wisdom philosophies from the East. And here's another picture of Maharishi, my guru. And here is my daughter Malika when she was learning dance. And finally, here is another book here on the bookshelf. You Are the Universe, Discovering Your Cosmic Self. And you can join the conversation on discoveringyourcosmicself.com and actually take part in the sweepstakes. So the sweepstakes are open right now. You can come to the Chopra Center for a retreat if you win the sweepstakes, but there are many, many other gifts and prizes as well. Thank you, and I will be in touch, and lots of love, and we'll talk again tomorrow.